but make sure you check that, okay? Just put it on the here. Just give it here. Just take it.
We're live.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I got kids all over the place, so it makes it kind of up.
Well,
yeah.
Hello, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another First Tuesday live stream hosted by Alpha News Minnesota. If you're watching this on Facebook, you should follow Alpha News. If you're not watching this on Facebook, we're not sure how you're watching it, but you should still follow them on Facebook. We have a very special guest for you tonight, Alexander Deputie, a man who immigrated from Liberia at a young age and is now running to bring some conservative values into St. Paul. A very timely guest as we draw closer to the 2020 election. Alex, thanks so much for being with us.
All right. Thank you, Kyle.
I suppose we should start off with just a little bit of background on you. Who are you? What's your story? And how did you come to be running for state senate in St. Paul?
All right. So my story is that my family immigrated to this country back in 1993 of September 27th. That was probably one of the greatest day of my life. We left my home country of Liberia, which had a civil war, which I can't really say it was a civil war, but it was more like a genocide because the other side had guns. So we fled and we went to the neighboring country of the Ivory Coast and stayed there for about 2 years. And a few weeks in the refugee camp, my grandmother and my auntie and them were here. And for 2 years, we waited in the Ivory Coast and literally waited for us to enter this country. When we finally did, it was one of the greatest times, Kyle. Seriously, it was of my life. And so I came here and I went through the system, but one thing I would like to point out is that whenever someone comes or want to come to America, which is a lot of people, they never have this anti-American rhetoric going on. Mm-hmm. They all see America as a place of hope, freedom, opportunity. Mm-hmm. Knowing that and feeling that, I came here. And I tell you, my perspective began to change later on. Whether it was the education system, the culture, the media, all of that began to basically help push a narrative that later on now, knowing that it's fake and it's false, all of that led me and my family and my, pretty much, everyone around me to, believe that America is this racist country that is just horrible and just blah, blah, blah. So I went through high school, graduated high school. Let me see what else. Fast forward, probably about 15, 20 years, grew up. I never actually got involved in politics or anything until 2011. That was when I decided to finally get my citizenship and to finally get serious about becoming a citizen and learning how to contribute to society. So I got it. Before that, I grew up just, thinking that one side liked me, the other side hates me, and did I have proof? No, but it was just something that was just ingrained, within me. And then after that, I got married. My beautiful wife, Cassie, back there, somewhere over there. Then we have been married for about 11 years and we had 7 children. So wow. We were very busy. So, but yeah, so with with that, I was going to church at the time, and we had 4 kids at the time, and I was on the system. My wife and I put her on the system with me because that was the normal. That was the normal for me. So without having any shame about it, a friend of mine from church, pulled me aside and I said, look, man, the Bible is clear, a father, a husband, it is your job to provide for your family.
Wow.
You need to work. You need to do whatever it is for you to take care of your family. And that cut me deep. I mean, pride was from here to like here, and I struggled with that for like weeks, months. I struggled with it. I was angry, and I was frustrated at him, but reality, he was telling the truth. So I decided to finally just do it because I know that he was right. So I decided to do it, and I called the Department of Health and Human Services. I called them and I told them, look, I am getting off of food stamp. I am getting off of all of these things, right? For 45 minutes, the lady fought me. She fought me for 45 minutes. She would not
Interesting.
let me do it. She told me it was a bad idea. She told me that I was making a terrible decision. Think about the kids, think about this and that. I said, I am. Okay. And I was just tired of it. So 45 minutes later, everything was done. I decided to find a career, and I decided to work full time. So for about 2 years, I was working full time work, full time school. Decided to put myself through school, and it was tough emotionally. Physically, it wasn't as bad, because
Yeah.
I am a man, and I used to work a lot. Growing up, my father and mother were very hard working people. So they basically set that example for me, even though none of it never really clicked until later on. So working hard, but emotionally it was hard, but it was worth it because afterwards I graduated with a degree in heating and cooling, and I made a lot of money that I can finally provide for my family, but also others now. So I no longer have to be dependent on the government. But
Yeah.
all of that happened because someone cared about me, and not so much my feelings, right? And he
Yeah.
was willing to speak truth regardless to if it was going to ruin our relationship. He took a chance on me, and you know what, that was the best decision I can say that was for me. So um, graduated school, graduated college. Now I'm making, good money, providing for my family, providing for others. I started to notice that our society was kind of shifting, uh, my pastor is a history buff. So every like Sunday, Thursday, he um, he is always incorporating something about the government and God and just how our country was founded for. So I sat under that for years and years, but never really clicked until like the last probably about the last 5 years. So because of that, I kept going home and just kept going home. I started Googling and started looking up all of these events that happen. And and needless to say that I fell in love with our Constitution, and everything made sense. Um, it was just one of those revelation that um, this is why everybody love America.
Yeah.
This is why everybody wants to come to America. This is the reason. And if this is the reason, I need to know it. I need to effectively know it.
Mhm.
I need to also practice it, but then also teach it. So last year I started teaching a course on the Constitution, and basically just started going forward. And then I also started I also started going to the state capitol
Mhm.
and started meeting with my representative, both House and Senate. And I was there pretty much every day. Like I was there every day, and I started to ask questions. I was just concerned. I was like, but our Constitution says this. So why are you guys operating this way? Why are you guys not following our Constitution?
And these are Democrats you're meeting
And
with.
these are yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So I'm like, look, you guys are not operating according to our federal Constitution or our state Constitution.
Mhm.
So I was at come, every single committee meetings, hearings. I mean, I was there because things were just going down, and I'm like, okay, something's wrong here. I need to just learn more. I need to be more educated. So I started taking my wife and kids with me. I mean, we were there all day, all day every day. So before that, I decided to switch my jobs because I wasn't exactly sure why everything was happening this way,
Mhm.
but now everything makes sense. But before I uh, I took a leap of faith and I quit my I I basically walked away from my decent, paying job,
Mhm.
and decided to go and be my own boss.
Mhm.
So I started working on my own, just just so that I can be more involved.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
So
yeah, go ahead.
it's a pretty inspiring story. You flee Liberia as a refugee, you come to America, you find yourself aligned with sort of the liberal beliefs. You come back from that after speaking with a friend that you met at church. Your pastor kind of convinces you to get more into this conservative line of thinking. You become an activist. You serve as basically a one-man lobbyist team, speaking with your Democrat representatives.
Oh yeah.
Then you go into business for yourself so you can have
Yep.
more time to work on politics. I mean, that's an absolutely incredible story. Um, but it seems like most people would expect you to be a Democrat,
Yep.
and
Dreads and the beard and everything. Yeah, of course.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Why do you think it is that so many people that come to this country as immigrants or that hold conservative values like yourself end up voting Democrat?
So, like I said earlier, is that it is the narrative, right? So
Yeah,
it's the narrative over time, it just wears on you.
yeah.
People you people you start to hang out with, the culture too,
Hmm.
definitely has an influence on you. But also too is that it's the Democrats' tactics of going after immigrants,
Hmm.
people that are newer, because they see them as potential voters.
Yeah, yeah.
So they basically offer them all of these free stuff, and then loyalty happens, and now you will find yourself voting this way. So this was something that I began to notice about a year or two ago, is that Democrats are good at reaching these newer people, whereas Republicans tend to more focus on everything else. So one of my main tactic is going after these newer immigrants because majority of them holds conservative values.
How has
So
that been received? Because you're running in a very diverse district, as I understand, and communities that traditionally vote for Democrats. You're going after the immigrants. How have they been receiving that message?
surprisingly well.
Really?
The last week or two, I had couple people from Ghana
Hmm.
and couple people from Somalia actually,
Hmm.
full burqa and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
She came to me and um, she was literally asking me questions, as to why me as as an immigrant, you know, I am supporting Trump,
Yeah,
supporting
yeah.
all of these things, and I was able to just lay it, just basically lay it out to her, like, like, look, I mean, because conservative values, you and I share it. So
Hmm.
I focus on policies, the policies, not the people.
Hmm.
I do not focus on the people. So basically, with me relating everything back to her conservative values, she was like, really?
Yeah.
And she literally offered to help me, literally, like, to join in on my campaign. It and she was literally calling her friends and family, like, hey, you need to come check this guy out. And
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Because
Yeah.
that was a foreign territory for me, because of the narrative that has
Right.
been
Right.
going on, is that these people are Democrats, right? And Democrats have them on lockdown.
Hmm.
So us Republicans tend to kind of shy away from that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think because I came from that, background,
Mhm.
I can really speak to them and I can speak their language. So I
Yeah.
am definitely excited about it, and it has been going really, really well. So yeah. So
Wonderful, wonderful. Tell our viewers, who are you running against, and what do you think really separates you from your opponent?
so the candidate that I'm running again is Senator Fung Her.
Mhm.
He is the incumbent. Democrats been there for about 8 years now.
Mhm.
So the vast difference is that him and I, um, him and I have similar story within a way.
Yeah.
Both of us are immigrants, but the difference is that I I knowing and understanding what it is to not be properly represented, and knowing our country foundational government, and wanting to live it out, and also practice it,
Mhm.
because majority of his policies are not constitutional. I mean, literally,
True.
he literally rubber stamped everything Democrats are doing,
Yeah.
and so much so that majority of his own community people are frustrated with him
Mhm.
because of that. And he has been silent on the Black Lives Matter issue, hasn't
Mm.
even said a word. Um, he actually berated his people for not supporting Black Lives Matter. So that
Interesting.
kind of made them was like, okay, that's it. I mean, we are done.
Yeah.
so they are frustrated with that. But then also, he supports John Thompson also,
Mhm.
the guy that
Oh,
has
really?
caused a stir, right? So
Yeah.
people are frustrated because of that,
Hmm.
um, and I was one of the first people to publicly denounce him after coming from camping. I
Yeah,
came back I came back Sunday. I'm like, oh, it's so nice to just go away. And then I came back and saw this. I'm like, oh, I gotta do
yeah.
something here. So I came back and spoke out, against them. But then also, cops.
Mhm.
It is a silly idea for us to actually think defunding our police is a good idea,
Oh,
and
yeah.
never before has that ever worked out anywhere. So
No.
I have no idea where these geniuses are coming from with this magnificent idea of defunding our cops. And
Mhm.
I am a huge, huge, huge supporter of cops.
Yeah.
And do they have issues? Yes, but defunding them is not the answer. And I have publicly spoke against that, and yeah, I will continue to support our cops. So
That's
that's some of the fundamental differences between him and I.
Yeah, sounds pretty straightforward to me. For our viewers that are just tuning in, we're speaking to Alex Deputie. He fled his home country of Liberia at a young age as a refugee, came to America, and is now running as a conservative for state senate here in Minnesota. God willing, he'll get elected. Tell me this: you come from this minority community in St. Paul. How is the support for Black Lives Matter looking there? Because it seems to me like these are the areas most affected by looting, rioting, and crime. Where do your prospective constituents sort of fall on this issue?
So our district has about 33% Asian. I would say 33% whites, and probably the last, 33 is, a bunch of other people. Um, I've seen quite a few support of Black Lives Matter, but surprisingly, um, it's not, it is not who you think would support, Black
Mm.
Lives Matter. So I have actually had a greater, pushback against you know, against my stance, more so from whites than I
Interesting.
have blacks. So I'm like, something's not
Yeah.
adding up here. Like, why are the blacks are like, that's kind of crazy. These people are destroying our neighborhoods and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So uh, people are very relaxed here. Um,
Mhm.
we have the lowest voter turnouts, the lowest voter participation. So people just don't really get involved a lot unless stuff starts happening to them. And
Yeah.
the last like couple months, businesses have been burned down. Businesses have been looted and broken in. So people are waking up. People are waking up, and right now, it is it is no longer about policy. I mean, about party now. It is about the policy. So my goal and my vision is to focus on policies and
Mhm.
literally bringing us back together again, because we need that calm voice of reasoning, especially within this whole era of chaos that is just being perpetrated upon us. So
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you there. When it comes to this sort of final push before the election, we're really not that far out now. What's your game plan? How are you going to get out those votes? You mentioned that you might not have the best voter turnout in your district.
so my the last month or the last month and a half, we literally distributed 36,000 literature.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yes. So I have a solid campaign group of people.
Mhm.
They are people that I have known for like 15 plus years, family, friends, all right? Nobody else will have my best interest than them.
Yeah.
So we have worked hard, supporters and volunteers have been on um, the ground, just pushing away. So and then so our next we have held couple rallies here, and the last one was called America Bless God, and
Mhm.
we basically fed like the whole, the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
Just
Wow.
literally just encouraging people to come and
Mhm.
basically meet me.
Mhm.
Uh, Wednesday nights I have an open door policy
Mhm.
over at the coffee house that
Mhm.
my wife and I manages, that you can come and see me and talk to me, and
Mhm.
you can literally come with concern, moans, groans, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Meet your future senator, and
Mhm.
you can have an open access to me anytime you want. So just come through, talk it out, and then we are gonna start our first and second round of mailers.
Mhm.
Just mail it out, and then in October, so
Mhm.
we are going to do two of those. I have a couple people on phones,
Mhm.
and then door, and then from now on is door. I am like knocking on doors, just meeting everybody that I can, and I'm just gonna just keep pressing hard until everybody knows who I am. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed a pretty stark contrast here. Your opponent is admonishing the constituents for not agreeing with him, and you're out there actually engaging with the community, feeding them, and hearing their concerns in a
Yeah.
coffee shop. I mean,
Yep.
the contrast is pretty clear.
Yep.
So when it comes to sort of door knocking, what's the reception you get from people? Are people surprised, that a conservative is trying to win this district? Are people receptive? How would you say that goes?
I would say people are surprised
Yeah.
because for about 42 years, I mean, it has been a one-sided thing.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I just focus on policies. And uh,
Mhm.
I would say that my number one policy is building a safe community, and everybody resonate with that right now because they know how fragile society is right now. They are looking for someone to bring order and
Yeah.
to literally help encourage people versus tearing us down with no
Yeah.
future solution. So
Yeah. Well, it
that's
makes sense to me. It seems like the right is sort of the place of law and order, and the left has represented chaos recently.
yep.
Tell me this, if we have viewers out there that are looking to get involved with your campaign or to support you in any way, where and how can they do that?
If, if anyone is looking to get involved, I'm sorry for my
Oh, no problem.
just keep going back and forth. They can go to my website at alexanderbusterdeputie.com, or they can go to my Facebook at Alexander Buster Deputy for mnsenate.com, and they can definitely reach me there, message me, give me your name and your contact info, and we can definitely connect you in an area that you can volunteer at. So
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming on. I really love your story. Again, for people that haven't already heard the story, Mr. Deputy, he came over from Liberia as a refugee at a young age. He's now running as a conservative for state senate for a district in St. Paul. And, like you just said, you can go to his website. You should get involved with that campaign if that's something you're interested in. Alex, thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
right, thank you, sir. Bye.
Tomorrow at 6:30, we're going to be going live again, this time with Katie Hopkins. Katie Hopkins made a name for herself for her fearless reporting in lawless environments. She reported in the migrant camps of South Africa, and she's been very prolific across many, many years. She was recently totally banned from Twitter. They've been doing that a lot lately. Despite that, she remains a frequent guest on Sean Hannity's radio show, and she's appeared on Tucker Carlson numerous times. Again, that is Katie Hopkins. She'll be on at this time tomorrow. We're very excited to have her on. Be sure to tune in. Alex, again, thank you. And to all of our viewers, have a good night.